What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight, and what do we do from here?
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
And we are back with the Dolphins franchise, as this year was very disappointing. We went 5-10-1 and finished in last place in the AFC East. But on a good note, we actually played 5 out of the 6 AFC playoff teams and ended up winning 3 of those games. We were 3-1-1, unless you count the Patriots, and then we were 3-3-1, so a 500 record against teams that are going to the playoffs. But what a brutal schedule that we did have, as we ended up pretty much playing every playoff team. The only playoff team we did not play on the AFC side was the Jacksonville Jaguars. But our offense did finish 32nd, so we ended up just cleaning house on the offensive side of the ball. We are going to give Flores another opportunity, but we are currently looking for an offensive coordinator, so we're going to have to figure out what we can do with that. But our defense was pretty spectacular all year. They finished second in the NFL, so we at least have some good building blocks going forward. I have no idea what I plan on doing for free agency. The draft, I'm thinking of going for that center Tommy Saxton in the first round. So we will have to see. We do have a lot of front-loaded picks. Hopefully we're able to get some maybe impact players or maybe even some backups. But let's start this episode with a little bit of upgrades. Starting here with defensive tackle Lorenzo Neal, we're going to go into run stopper. I'm not exactly sure if we're moving Wilkins back to DT. We'll really have to see where these left ends end up in the draft, but it does give him ability slot, so maybe he gets a little bit better this year. And then we have starting right tackle Sidney Patrick, a very, very good rookie campaign. He has star dev that we figured out this year, but we're going to go into agile for him, get him up to a 78 overall. He did get exposed against the really top tier rushers, but other than that, he actually did pretty well this year regardless, because going against people like Khalil Mack just does not work out, or TJ Watt. Punter Mac Hot will get one, and we're going into accurate. Keeps him at a 77 overall, but I kind of feel like his accuracy is what's hurting him the most in getting inside of the 20-yard line. Kicker Jet Toner will also get one, and we're going to go into power, try to get his leg up just a little bit more. He goes up to a 75 overall with that +1 kick power. Now we head to the practice squad. Strong safety DeJuan Strickland will go into run support, get him up to a 69 overall. Not sure what our plans are for him in the future. Left end Mike Wright, we're going to go into power rusher, get him up to a 68 overall and a scheme fit. Same thing, not sure where his future is. Tight end Chandler Gore, we're going to go into vertical threat. That gets him up to a 67 and a scheme fit. This guy's actually very well rounded, and he had a good preseason, so I'm kind of keeping my eye on him this year. And not that he was a practice squad member, but Jalen Thompson, he's going to go into slot. Kind of forgot all about this guy down here in the low overall, but he does play well above that, and that's why he made the team. Left end Sean Foote, we're going to go into power rusher, get him up to a 63 overall. He had a pretty good preseason this year. Defensive tackle Vian Moala will actually get 2 skill points, so we're going to go into run stopper for the first one, and that gets him up to a 59, and then run stopper for the second one to get him up to a 60. Again, probably not a guy that we're looking at in the future. Developmental QB Anthony Brown, we're going to go into strong arm, get him up to a 54 overall, but he's not progressing as quick as I wanted him to. So with the upgrades all said and done, let's take a look at the season stats, even though they're going to disappoint me and probably disappoint you as well. But you know what? We have to look at them. So here they are. So starting here in the passing department, Trevor Lawrence in his second year, again, did not look good. The bust label is starting to pop up into conversations. Hopefully next year can be his breakout. It's his third year. He's going to have to figure it out at some point, but we might end up drafting a quarterback rather early. just in case it doesn't happen. But he did throw for 3,800 yards, 15 touchdowns, 21 picks, so yet another 20-plus interception season. Rating was 86. He's got to take shots downfield, but it seemed like every time he was trying to dump off, he was making terrible decisions. And then for rushing, Philip Lindsay. He probably could have had 1,000 yards this year, but he ended up getting hurt. But he did have 846 and just one touchdown, and that was on a long touchdown. So I want to see him get into the end zone a little bit more next year. AMJ, 3.6 average. He looked really, really good with the playing time he got. But again, the injury bug is what continues to hinder his performance. He had 188 yards this year. Jatarvius Whitley, 113 with the touchdown. Not looking too bad, but again, I think I'd rather take AMJ than Whitlow at this current moment. Trey Rogers did end up being the touchdown hawk for us with 4 on 62 yards. Parker had 6 carries for 21. Cootie 8 for 20, and Chandler Cox actually ended up running the ball this year for 4 attempts and 19 yards. So now let's head over to receiving. Devontae Parker, 64 catches, 1,052 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Another 1,000-yard campaign for him, so he's definitely finally shed that label of not being prepared, because the last couple of years he has been really good. Mike Gesicki, 82 catches for 742. That average is just horrible, but he did end up having 5 touchdowns. We need to be able to get him downfield a little bit more for Lawrence, because he's a real big threat at 6'6", and actually is a matchup nightmare for linebackers and safeties alike. Adrian Hardy, 44 catches, 634 yards, and a touchdown. So I signed this guy. He is a very good slot receiver, making good catches. I mean, pretty much 14.4 average is beautiful. Kiki QT, 34 catches, 376 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kind of wanted to see a little bit more production from him, but he did get banged up. Philip Lindsay, 45 catches, 266 yards. Pretty productive out of the backfield. Octavius Cooley, which I'm not sure if we're planning on re-signing this year, 29 catches, 237 yards, and a touchdown. So pretty good backup tight end numbers. DJ Shark, 18 catches, 167 yards, and a touchdown. I was expecting much bigger things from him. Maybe he can bounce back here in year 2. AMJ, 24 catches, 148 yards. Not too crazy, but I mean, this guy is an absolute beast when he gets into the open field. Jatarvius Whitlow, 12 catches, 105 yards. Trey McKitty, 7 catches, 99 yards. I actually might want to put him on the field a little bit more, because he is a vertical threat, and we saw him go up and get balls all the time. Damon Hazelton, he actually did end up starting week 17, but just did not have any production. 2 catches, 12 yards this year. Chandler Cox, hey, he had a catch too for 4 yards. And then Trey Rogers had a catch and 2 yards as well. As for blocking, this does not look great, but Penei Sewell in his second year did very good. Only gave up 4 sacks, but again, he's on the left side. He's not getting those really great rushers. Darren Paulo gave up 6. So a little bit of an improvement, but he's a guard, so I'm still kind of up and down about if I really want to keep that guy long term or not. Connor Williams gave up 6 sacks as the center. Maybe he was the problem with everything. I have no idea, but our offense was just atrocious. Joe Thuney ended up giving up 9 sacks this year. Not really good. He's going to regress this year as well, so not sure if he's going to be in our future, if I'm going to decide him or give Trey Smith an opportunity. Sidney Patrick ended up giving 11 sacks, but again, he was going against some of the top pass rushers in the league. Von Miller, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, and I think he did okay, but I think he gave up like 3 sacks to Von Miller and 3 sacks to Khalil Mack, and that's going to kind of blow up his stats up a little bit. Defensively speaking, Baker, 175 tackles. Minkah Fitzpatrick, 123. Raekwon, 109. 93 for Xavier McKinney. 92 for Hilton. 90 for Jair Alexander. 74 for Merlin. 72 for Xavier Howard. As you can tell, our defense was on the field an awful lot to be getting those kind of tackle numbers. So we really need to be able to clean up our offense just to give our defense a chance. TFL's Baker led with 24, Chase Young has 17, Wilkins 15, Merlin Robertson had 14, Raekwon and Josh Sweat had 12, Minka had 11, and then for sacks, it was all about the Merlin Robertson train. 12 and a half sacks, and pretty much his first opportunity to be specifically a rusher. So that is fantastic. That is beautiful. You do your thing, Merlin. Chase Young ended up having 9 sacks on the left-hand side. Wilkins had 9 sacks on the right side. So maybe we continue to do that. Josh Sweat had 7, and he was rushing from the DT spot. Very, very good. I really enjoyed watching him play this year. 5.5 for Raekwon, 2 for Baker, 1.5 for Xavier McKinney. Fitzpatrick, Neal, Van Ginkel, and Young all had 1, and then Mike Hilton assisted on 1 as well. Now for interceptions, 11 by Jair Alexander. What an absolute beast of a year for him. Anything that was thrown his way, he was pretty much picking. It was insane. Baker and McKinney had 2. Fitzpatrick and Howard had 1. I was expecting a little bit more from Howard this time around. So he really needs to kind of step it up a little bit, especially with how Jair Alexander was playing. I mean, Jair Alexander was amazing. I mean, all year. Forced fumbles, Merlin Robertson had 1. Baker, Alexander, Wilkins, Fitzpatrick, and Chase Young all had 1. And then fumble recoveries, we had Merlin had 1, Neal, Henry, and Arsenio Shea had 1 as well. As for the kicking side, Jet Turner was 31 of 35, 88% with a long of 55. He did have 1 blocked and 1 extra point blocked as well. That's why he was 19 of 20. But as you can tell, anything under 50 yards, he was perfect, spot on. But then 50 plus, he was 3 of 7. So we can't really get too mad. He still hit 88%, which is, I mean, a very good clip in today's kicking rounds. So kind of excited to continue to watch him progress and get his kick power up so he can hit a little bit more of those 50s. But even some of those 50s were 60s because our offense just could not get into field goal range. Matt Hawk averaged 54.1 with a 45.9 net average with 24 inside the 20, so that accuracy is going to help just that much more. But as you can tell, he had 26 touchbacks. That needs to slow down a little bit. He needs to be a little bit more accurate and drop those in. I mean, yeah, the 1 yard line is great and all, but I would take, if you don't want to get that close to, inside the 10. That works just as well. Justin Jefferson averaged 22.8 as our kick returner. Punt returner, he ended up having a 6.3 average, so nothing too crazy from the return game there. All right, so it is time to take a look at the wild card playoff round. As you already know, we just have not been part of the playoffs at all this franchise and this series, so a little bit disappointing, but let's take a look. So for the AFC, the 2 bye teams are the Baltimore Ravens and the Denver Broncos, which we saw both of them. That Ravens offense is really, really good. And then we also have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots, who ended up with Nick Mullins making the playoffs, and they pretty much beat us down pretty good in the 2 games. And then on the NFC side, the New Orleans Saints were 15-1. Very, very good team. They have a bye. And then the Dallas Cowboys were the number 2 seed. As for the wild card round, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings actually ended up winning the NFC North, and they were 6-10. Not a very strong division there, but maybe they can make a run. I mean, everybody, as soon as you get into the playoffs, they have the opportunity to make a run and tell us why 6-10 was okay for them to get into the playoffs. But let's see what the results are. And the results for the wild card round, the Jaguars will end up losing to the Texans 21-7. The Seahawks dominated the Cardinals 31-10. The Browns will end up beating the Patriots 24-21. Hey, we even beat the Browns. We actually dismantled them 34-3. I mean, don't worry about it, Patriots. And then the Vikings will end up beating the Falcons. See, I told you, even though they're 6-10, maybe they are a really good team. But yeah, we beat them as well this year. And now taking a look at the divisional round, we have the Browns going to Baltimore to play Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Vikings are going to head to the New Orleans Saints. So a 6-10 team versus a 15-1 team. Put your money down. I know who you're probably going to go for. And then you got the Texans going to the Broncos and Tua Tagovailoa. And then Seattle at Dallas just to kind of finish up the playoffs. So let's see who ends up winning. And the results of the divisional round, the Ravens will end up beating the Browns 31-28. Kind of a little bit worried about the Ravens defense. I mean, giving up 28 points to the Browns, and I think they gave up 34 to us. So you know that that's a problem. The Saints will end the 6-10 Vikings reign as they end up winning 31-16. Very, very good Saints team over there. And then the Texans will pull up the upset over Tua and the Broncos, beating them 21-13. So very interesting there, as we ended up pretty much mollywopping the Texans and the Broncos pretty much mollywopped us. And then in the Seattle Cowboys game, Seattle ends up destroying the Cowboys 42-7. Not a very good look there at all. But hey, what are you going to do? So the conference championships will line up like this. Houston will travel to Baltimore and see if they can end up beating that number 1 ranked offense. Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, that's probably a pretty intense game. And then the Seahawks will head to New Orleans. New Orleans, very, very, very good team. I think Jacoby Brissett is their quarterback, so we'll have to see if they're able to continue to win and find themselves in the Super Bowl. So the finals here for the conference championships, the Ravens will move on to the Super Bowl, beating the Texans 28-16. Looks like the Ravens defense showed up there. And then Seattle will pull the upset on the best team in the NFL, 31-28. So Brissett Saints, they do not make the Super Bowl, but it's going to be pretty exciting. You got a very good Ravens offense going against the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll have to figure out who ends up winning that game. But before we jump into that, I think it's time to take a look at the Pro Bowl roster. Do you think we have any? It's very, very possible. I mean, we have some decent guys. Well, look, Brissett is on the NFC team. So we got Brissett, Mayfield, Ryan, Watson, Prescott, and Nick Foles ended up being the Pro Bowl guys. And then for halfbacks, Elliott, Mixon, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Dalvin Cook, and Kareem Hunt. I could see that. I can get behind that. And then fullbacks, Ham, Janovich, Line, and Cox. Of course, Cox is going to make it. I have no idea why he continues to make it. I mean, he doesn't really put up the huge numbers, but I guess his blocking's pretty good. But I don't think we're going to resign him. As for the wide receivers, we have Julio, Odell, Amari Cooper, Albert Wilson ended up making it good for him. Dante Pettis, Hunter Renfrow, Gabriel and Crowder, Evans, N'Keal Harry, Michael Thomas, CeeDee Lamb ends up making it. Okay. Tight ends, Higbee, Joku, Burton, Kelsey, Goddard, and Oliver. Tackles, Smith, Tunsil, Bakhtiari, Wynn. Guards, Marpet, Nelson, Pete, and Norwell. Frederick, Hudson, McCoy, and Linder are the centers. The guards, Martin DeCastro, Zeitler, Mason, and then tackle-wise, Ramzik, Moton, Johnson, and Schwartz. So we only have one offensive player, which makes sense. I mean, we should have really had 0 with how bad our offense was. But hey, Chandler Cox made it once again. As for the left ends, we have Jordan and Watt, Lawrence and Bosa. Right ends, Donald Garrett, Graham and Houston. Defensive tackles, Buckner Williams, Cox and Davis, with Harrison and Jackson. So surprisingly, none of our line made it. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. Left outside linebackers, Mack, Weaver, Simmons, and Von Miller. Middle linebackers, Hicks, Jerome Baker. He had a crazy season. Kwiatkowski and Murray. Right outside linebackers, Fackrell, Ebeckham, Ebicom, jeez, I'm having toughness. Parsons and Chubb, and then cornerbacks House, Jair Alexander. Yeah, he better be top because he was insane this year. Surtain, White, Trufant, Jackson, Jones, and Ramsey. Free safeties, McLeod, Davis, Woods, and Adderley. Kind of feel like Minka might have got snubbed there just a little bit. Strong safety, Reed, Gaithers. Caden Stearns ends up making it, and Neal. And then kickers, Blankenship and Toner. Toner makes his second straight Pro Bowl. So he's doing all right. I won't get too crazy about that. And then punters, Coke and Matt Hawk. So our special teams made it, guys. That's what it's all about. Kick returners, Ibenigene, Verdell, Fulgham, and Armstead. So a couple of Pro Bowlers. I mean, we'll take it. But let's see who ends up winning this Super Bowl. But before that, we have to get into the annual awards because I forgot all about them. So the NFL MVP is actually Baker Mayfield, Watson, Newton, Ryan, Jackson, Allen, Winston, Prescott, Wilson, and Nick Mullins ended up getting just a little bit of attention. And then the coach of the year was Demetrius Turner, which he should with a 15-1 Saints team. Garrett, O'Brien, Fangio, Gruden, Marone, Kitchens, Harbaugh, Griffin Murphy, and Adam Gase. Griffin Murphy, by the way, is like the Bill Belichick. That's just who he is. So great for that. As for the AFC side, Offensive Player of the Year is Deshaun Watson. And do we have anybody? No way. But Josh Rosen, 10th on a 4-12 Indianapolis Colts team. Go ahead, man. All right, Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett will end up winning it. Wow, he beat out Jair Alexander. That's crazy. And then Baker was there as well. And that was our two guys. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Bruce Haskins, with Javonte Sawyer second. Did we have anybody? Nope. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Trey Riviera. And, I mean, we should. Quincy Shepard as a backup strong safety, 10th in the voting. Okay, not bad, Quincy. Best quarterback, Baker Mayfield, of course. Yeah, I didn't think so. Best running back was Kareem Hunt. And still nothing. Best wide receiver, OBJ. And we had nothing. Oh, I feel like Parker got snubbed there. Best offensive lineman, Shaq Mason. Of course, should any of our offensive people been snubbed with how bad our offense was? Maybe not. All right, best D-line, Myles Garrett, as he should be. See that Chase Young was 7th, Christian Wilkins was 9th. There's a couple big boys there. Best linebacker, Curtis Weaver. And Baker ended up finishing 4th with Merlin Robertson 5th, which is kind of crazy because his sacks were off the chain. Jair Alexander was the best defensive back. I understand that. Best kicker, Ryan Tice, who actually is... how did he end up not getting a Pro Bowl nod? And Jet Turner did, even though Jet Turner finished 9th. Okay. I mean, no big deal. I'm not confused by it at all. Okay, on the NFC side, Cam Newton will win Offensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie, Deion Eubanks. Defensive Rookie, William House. Best Quarterback, Matt Ryan. Best Running Back, Zeke. Wide Receiver, Amari Cooper. Lineman, Zach Martin. Jeez, they had a really good offense over there. Best D-line, Aaron Donald. That makes sense. Best Linebacker, Khalil Mack. Best DB, Clinton Dix. Okay. And then actually, William House was 2nd. That guy seems to be pretty good. Best Kicker, Jake Elliott. So there's the annual awards. And now this time, we will actually see what the Super Bowl result is. And in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks will end up winning 24-21 with a nice 10 points in the fourth quarter. A nice fourth quarter comeback. Offensive yards, 403 to 355. So nothing short of no defense at all. But again, kind of what keeping people off the board there. 24-21. Let's take a look at the player stats. Russell Wilson, 218 yards. And then Lamar Jackson had 267 with the touchdown and a pick. So was it the rushing game? Chris Carson, 113 yards. Kerryon Johnson was 71. So pretty good. Any crazy receiving games, Hollywood Brown and Snead with 80 plus yards. Not too bad there. Defensively speaking, any crazy sack numbers, Tim Williams, Jaron Reed with 1. And then the 1 pick went to Javon Holland from Seattle. So not a crazy Super Bowl, but a pretty good game. I mean, that's probably one that you would want to watch and have all sorts of craziness with. But we do have the off season, so let's take a look at the regression. So Devontae Parker has lost 14 attribute points, so now he is a 79 overall. Wonder how that translates. I mean, right now he's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Xavier Howard will lose 5, AVG -4. Thuney only lost 6, so he just went down 1 overall. So I think we should probably sign him. Philip Lindsay ended up losing 9, but still at 85 overall, he lost 1. Linvale Joseph ended up losing 30 and 5 points. So I'm kind of glad I didn't jump into signing him right away. So now knowing a little bit of regression, I do think that it is probably time to go after Joe Thuney here. Still 83 overall. He did not have the greatest year. I think a 1-year, 10 mil deal is probably pretty good, but we're actually going to bump it up just a little bit. We do have 35 mil in cap space. It's definitely starting to shrink this year for sure, and we haven't even made the playoffs. He's just not interested in signing, so he does not want to come back. I could end up franchise tagging him, but I don't think we are. Chance Smith, I mean, probably not. Anybody else that is crazy? Nope. So we made our 1 offer. I don't think a franchise tag is going to be the right move here for him. 13.5, I don't think so. I mean, if he wants to go test the market, he can go test the market. So it is time to jump into free agency 1. So let's see who we have and what we're able to do with it. So taking a look at the free agents here, we do see that Ed Oliver is the top overall free agent at 25 years old and 90 overall. Might end up making a run at him. I know we have Lorenzo Neal down there, but same age, 10 overall better. This guy could possibly be a piece to that defense that was already 2nd overall. Hilton, we already know. There's Kelsey, DK Metcalf I was kind of interested in. I'm not sure if we're going to go after him or not. Kind of feel like our wide receivers are super deep. And then there's a couple of other free agents that are currently available in the top 100. But before we make any offers, let's take a look at the retirees for this season. So Melvin Ingram, who was a free agent, is going to retire after 11 years. Brian Anger, I see that Ben Jones has also decided to retire. Jerry Hughes, Richard Sherman after 12 years is finally going to call it quits. So is Pouncey after 13. Lamar Miller, Robbie Gould, who were free agents. Dwayne Brown, Sam Coe, Kawan Short, Golden Tate is out. Josh Klein, Anthony Costanzo, Cordy Glenn, good grief. Dustin Colquitt, Mike Pouncey is out. AJ Green is out, so that hurts the Bengals. Geno Adkins will also hurt the Bengals. And then Lane Taylor will retire after 10 years as well. So the first offer we are going to put in is for 5-year back Nyheim Hines. We're going with a relatively low offer. He has no other offers on the table right now, but I do believe as a backup running back, kind of saw what happened when Philip Lindsay went out with an injury. We weren't really able to get the running game going. Anthony McFarland is just too injury prone. Whitlow is not doing what he needs to do. So we're going to offer him a 3-year, $10.4 million offer. So let's see if he takes it. Then we are also going to go after a backup tight end and 4-year pro Josh Oliver. We're going to send him a 2-year, $7.76 million offer. He has no other bids on the market right now, but as a vertical threat, and actually he was a Pro Bowl guy, so we'll see how he does. We are also going to offer 9-year pro Avery Williamson as kind of a backup linebacker to our middle linebackers, our outside linebackers, because I don't know if Nasiril Dean and Stirk are really going to be the answer. But we're going to offer him a 1-year, $3.13 million offer. Hopefully he takes it. And then we're also going to offer to 6-year pro Teez Tabor. We are familiar with him. He was able to make a lot of good plays on special teams for us. But I think this time, we are going to try to get him as a 4th cornerback just in case they go 4 wide. We're going to offer him a 2-year, $5 million offer. See if he ends up taking it. But we did save the best for last, as we are going to offer a contract to superstar defensive tackle Ed Oliver. Lorenzo Neal is in the final contract year, so I think going after him, who's the same age but 10 overall better, is probably worth the money, even though we would spend it next year with Lorenzo Neal. But we're going to offer him a 4-year, $59.8 million contract to kind of be another rock in a very, very good defense. Let's see if he ends up taking it. So we put in our initial offers. Let's end up heading to stage 2 and see if any of them end up signing. So it does look like Josh Oliver has accepted, so has Avery Williamson, Teez Tabor as well. Nyheim Hines will, but we ended up getting rejected by Ed Oliver, even though we gave him the best offer that was available. So Ed Oliver ended up going shorter than our bid because we had a 102-point bid, and he ended up signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Hilton is the Seahawk, Kelsey Steeler, Metcalf is signing with the Patriots, so we're going to have to end up seeing him. Adrian Amos with the Raiders. Thuney ends up signing with the Jets, so pretty much our guys are going straight to the AFC East. Darby is a Titan. Paradas goes with the Packers. Fournette is a Lion. Havenstein is a Falcon. Jarrell Casey is a Cardinal. Robbie Anderson is a 49er. Titus Howard is a Bengal. So we are going to end up making a bid, since we lost out on the Ed Oliver sweepstakes, to 4-year pro Kalen Saunders. We're going to offer him a 1-year, $2.53 million offer to be our backup defensive tackle. But we might end up taking somebody in the draft. We will have to see. I kind of feel like that number 2 DT spot right now is a little bit empty. Now we are going to end up heading to free agency 3 and see if Saunders ends up signing with us. So it doesn't look like Saunders has signed yet, so we do have a 5th-year option here. Let's see who it is for. It is for Chase Young. I do believe that we are going to pick this one up. He is pretty good. And I mean, it's going to hurt us a little bit in the cap space. Yes. Pick up his 5th-year option. So we at least have 1 more year before we have to negotiate a big contract with Chase Young. I like that. Lorenzo Neal was a 2nd-round pick anyway. So the Patriots ended up putting in a 105-point offer for Saunders. So we're going to withdraw that one, and we're going to go after Tyler Davison, the 8-year pro out of Fresno State. We're going to offer him a 1-year, $2.35 million offer to be our backup DT, or our DT number 2. So let's see if he ends up signing. So now we need to head to free agency 4 with Davison, the only guy that is on the offer sheet. Let's see if we can end up grabbing him as our DT number 2. So it does look like Davison will be joining the Fins as that DT number 2, but we still might end up taking one in the draft and see exactly what happens. But speaking of the draft, it is about that time. The Colts are on the clock here in round 1. They have the first pick. Now, I was kind of thinking that we're going to go center with Tommy Saxton first. But if a defensive tackle kind of falls to me in 8th, maybe I'll slide that way. But I don't think I'm going to. Rodney Stewart, we knew, was going to go first. And he's a 79 overall. So a good DT there for the Colts. Let's continue to skip ahead to our pick 8 here. Merrill Everett, defensive end from Duke, 74 overall for the Niners. The Chiefs are going to select Stuart Chapman, wide receiver, San Diego State, at 72 overall. The Eagles. Who are they going to take? Chad Gage, outside linebacker from LSU, 73 overall. Beautifully done. The Titans are going to take Idris Dobbs, wide receiver out of Penn State, at 74 overall. The Bucks are now on the clock, and they're going to take Jakari Fox, middle linebacker out of Ohio State, at 72 overall. And the Steelers at pick 7 are going to take Lance Curtis, quarterback out of Washington State, at 72 overall. And now it is our pick. So let me see who we got and who we're going to go with. I think with this pick, it has to be a no-brainer. We have to figure out our offense. We are going to take center Tommy Saxton, who is an early first-round talent here at pick 8. I just didn't want to wait until the 29th pick, which is also what we have, because I think we might end up losing him. So I'm actually going to take Tommy Saxton, who is 77 overall. Normal dev, however. Number 2 in true value. He is a power archetype, which we kind of knew, so he's kind of outside of that scheme fit. But 77 overall center, I think we can work on that. I think that is good. And his ratings look pretty good across the board. 75 awareness, good run block, good pass block, good power, and good finesse. So I think he is definitely going to be a mainstay to our offensive line. And now the Packers have the 9th pick, and let's see who they end up taking. It is Cassius Moorhead, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma State, who is 76 overall. I was really thinking about picking him, but I think our wide receivers are good. We just need to get better play from Trevor Lawrence. Now let's see who the Lions take. They're going to take Kamari Reed, the wide receiver out of USF, at 74 overall. The Bears at pick 11 are going to take Mario Landrum, the guard out of Tennessee, at 76 overall. That's a pretty good guard there. And now the Bengals are on the clock. They're going to take Austin Lloyd, the defensive end out of UCLA, at 76 overall. I was thinking about taking him, but again, I did not want to not have the chance to get Tommy Saxton, which I'm a little disappointed that he's just normal dev, but I mean, a 77 overall center is going to be pretty good throughout his years. And now the LA Rams are on the clock. They're going to take Sherrard Penn, the tight end out of Tennessee, at 73 overall. Pretty good tight end there.
The Giants
are now on the clock. The Raiders are going to take Evan Barden, the wide receiver out of Auburn, at 74 overall. And now the Giants are going to pick Terrell Pryor, wide receiver out of Toledo, 66 overall. A little bit of a bust potential there at 66. And now the Washington Redskins, or should I call them the football team? They take a tackle, Javier Owens, out of Stanford at 75 overall, so pretty decent. The Panthers are now going to take Travis Tyler, the cornerback out of Ohio, at 76 overall. I was very interested in him, but I think we shored up our secondary there in free agency, so I don't think we really needed to reach out for him. Kobe Pearson is going to be the Jets pick, outside linebacker out of Boston College, at 72 overall. And now the Buffalo Bills are going to take Sharif Phillips, the defensive end out of Pittsburgh, at 70 overall. And now it is the Chargers' time. They're going to take Emory Bradshaw, the tackle out of Vanderbilt, at 73 overall. And now the Cardinals are going to select Andrew Ryans, the cornerback out of Illinois, at 72 overall. So we've only seen 160 overall, so not too bad of a draft so far. The Falcons are going to take Dennis Sherman, the defensive tackle out of San Diego State, at 75 overall. That was the guy I was kind of thinking maybe I would have a chance to get at 29, but the Falcons said no dice. And now our rivals, the Patriots. The Patriots are going to take Isaac Hunter, the QB out of Washington State, at 72 overall. So the two quarterbacks that I was possibly hoping would drop to the second round did not happen, and now it is the Jaguars' time. They're going to take Roosevelt Hope, the free safety out of Clemson, at 76 overall. Real good pick for them. And the Vikings are going to take Sean Hart, defensive end out of Wyoming at 70 overall. And now the Browns are going to take Marshawn Booth, a tackle out of Florida State at 69 overall. So just the second person that's in the 60s. And the Broncos are going to take Darrell McPherson, outside linebacker out of Florida State at 75 overall. The Cowboys are going to take Andrew Pittman, cornerback out of Florida at 69 overall. And now it is our selection at pick 29 that we got from the Texans. Obviously, they did really, really well. So let's see who we will grab with this pick. So I do believe at this spot it is probably the time to actually grab a guy that I didn't showcase but ended up finding. Defensive tackle Jadon Goddard out of Oregon. He has early second round talent, early second round projected. Here in the late first round, he had a really good combine. I think this guy could be very, very good as a DT number 2. So let's end up taking Jadon Goddard here. And he's 70 overall, 37 in true value, but I was kind of waiting on Hudson Whitman anyway. So not too bad. I mean, he's 6'5", 302 pounds. He's going to be a load there in the middle. His block shedding's not very good. His power moves aren't very good, so he's not really going to be a rusher. Tackling's decent, play rec. I mean, they're decent, but they're not great. So not too bad of a pick, but maybe a little disappointed in myself on him. And now the Saints are on the clock at the 30 pick here, and they are going to end up taking Dave Shipley, the center out of Western Michigan at a 65 overall. And now it is the Baltimore Ravens at pick 31.
The Seahawks.
And they're going to take Kyrie Stuber, the cornerback out of Colorado at 67 overall. So you can see there's definitely a dip in talent here in the late of the first round. And now the Seahawks, who have the final pick in the first round, are going to take Antonio Atkinson, the outside linebacker out of Lafayette, or UL Lafayette, I should say, at 65 overall. So let's end up fast forwarding to our round 2 pick, which the first one is pick 8. So let's head over that way, and let's end up making our selection here. I think here we are going to take our guy Hudson Whitman, that power rusher at 6'3", 305 pounds out of Purdue, that late first round talent. Let's end up selecting him. And he's normal dev, 70 overall, so isn't too bad, but he's finally a power rush archetype for our left ends to finally do. And he's a good pick. He's 31 in true value. We got him at 40. And his ratings, his power moves are okay. His finesse moves need some work. His awareness needs some work. But good speed, good excel, good tackle, and he's supposedly a power rusher. Okay, I do not see that with that, but okay. I think that's a good pick for us. He might end up being a left end that we can count on. And now with the Packers on the clock, we are going to skip ahead to pick 21 here in the second round and see who's available. And the Chargers ended up taking the guy I was planning on taking right there, Jalen McGee, the defensive tackle out of UCLA. So, I mean, so be it. It is what it is. But let's see who we end up taking here. I think with this pick, even though he's a mid-third round projected, we are going to take wide receiver Lincoln Fields out of Arkansas. Late first round talent. I mean, we need some wide receivers that can make a difference. His 40-yard dash wasn't too bad, 4.47. So he does have a little bit of speed, and he's a route runner archetype. Maybe we can end up making him a vertical threat at 6'3". But Lincoln Fields is our selection here, second round, pick 21.
Are now on the clock.
And he's 71 overall, normal dev, 30 in true value, and we got him at 53. And he's actually a deep threat scheme fit. Interesting, even though it says route runner. Okay, so we definitely know that he's got some speed. He's got 90 speed, 89 excels. His catching needs to go up just a little bit. But actually very, very good attributes across the board there. So actually really good pick. Really good guy in the third round. Well, we got him in the second round, but I meant third round projected. And now with the Falcons on the clock, we're going to skip ahead to pick 23, which is our next one. So let's head on over that way. Ooh, they took Kaylan Keys, who was going to be that selection. Everybody is picking one before me. I see how it is, game. But let's see who we end up taking with the 23rd pick in the second round. I think with this pick, we are going to address our backup quarterback situation, which is going to be quarterback Dave Sands out of Buffalo. This might be a little bit of a reach, but we're kind of in the late second round anyway. So I think we can select him here, and let's do it.
Jaguars are now on the clock.
So we did reach. He's 56 in true value. We drafted him at 55. Okay, so a slight reach, but he's 68 overall, which means that he is now our second best overall quarterback. He fits the strong arm archetype, and his ratings, okay, throw power, deep accuracy is pretty good, medium accuracy is pretty good. His short accuracy, not so much. Awareness isn't good, but this is a definitely core piece that I can actually work with. And I mean, who knows if he ends up starting? He might end up starting since Trevor Lawrence has been awful his first 2 years. And now the Jaguars have the next pick, but we're going to fast forward to pick 27. So let's head out that way and let's make our selection. At this spot, I do believe that we're going to pull the trigger on Adam Beard out of Clemson. Again, late first round talent. Trying to do the best player available approach at this point here in the second round. So we're going to end up taking him. His 40-yard dash was second among left ends. Let's see how he looks. He's 29 in true value at 71 overall, and we got him at number 59. So maybe we have a little bit of a fight going on between him and Whitman for left end reps. His ratings, his finesse moves are pretty good. His speed, excel, tackle, his block shedding, not too much. Good agility, good strength. This guy might actually be pretty good. And now it is pick 28 time because we had back-to-back picks. So we took Adam Beard, and I think at this one, I think it's a no doubt situation, even though we could probably wait just a little bit longer. But I mean, first round talent, you got to take it when it's there. So I think we're actually going to end up taking Donald Buckley here, the 6'4" blocking tight end out of BYU. Again, late first round talent. I think we're going to take him. His vert and broad jump's pretty good. His bench is pretty good. 40-yard dash, I mean, it's under 5, so it's not terrible. But this guy can get up. And we got him, a 73 overall, number 21 in true value, and we got him at number 60. His vertical threat is way down on the archetype list, however, so maybe not necessarily going to be the guy, but he could be a good blocking tight end for a couple years at least. Get him in those power sets. His catching's only 58. His routes actually aren't terrible. His acceleration isn't terrible. 72 speed isn't too bad. Not too bad of a pick. I mean, a 73 overall tight end at this spot, I'll take it. And now we are going to fast forward to round 3, pick 8. So let's head on over there and see who's going to be available. And I think with this pick, we need to go out and get right end Arsenio McDonald. Yeah, he was injured, but I think he could possibly have the skill set that we need at right end, or at least as a backup right end. I mean, I got a lot of really good players that their contracts are about to expire, so I need some young talent. He's at least mid-second round, so it's not going to be a reach. Let's select Arsenio McDonald. And he's 69 overall, number 42 in true value, and we got him 30 picks later. But beautiful power rusher archetype, so he might end up actually being more of maybe even a defensive tackle for us. And his power moves are pretty good. His block shedding's decent, tackle's real good, strength's real good. So he could end up being a defensive tackle if we need him to be. And now let's head to the third round, pick 21. We have a little bit of a ways to go, but let's get it.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
All right, we're on the clock. Let's see who we grab here in round 3, pick 21. So I didn't really see anybody that really interested me here in round 3. So we're going to see what kind of offers we have. Let's take a look, see if anybody's giving us a decent pick. So round 3, pick 92. And then around 6, that could possibly work. 2 fourth round picks. That's a maybe. We're not just going to move back. Come on. Round 4, round 7, round 4, round 5. Moving back. Round 4, round 6, round 3, round 5. For next year, okay, not too bad. Round 4, round 7, round 3, round 6. Don't really see any that are absolutely crazy for us. I mean, we pick up a 6th round pick there, and we end up getting an extra round 3 from them next year. Nope, I don't think any of these are any good at all. Not one bit. Terrible. Terrible. So I do think that we are actually going to go with Colin Cooper here, the guard out of Clemson. Yes, I have plenty of line depth, but you never know what happens. Let's end up taking Colin Cooper here. And he's 69 overall, so he's 47 in true value. Not too bad. Normal dev. He's way off of our agile scheme fit, and his ratings, he's got really good strength, decent run blocking, decent pass blocking. Okay, I mean, that isn't terrible for a 3rd round pick. And now we are going to head to round 4, pick 30. Let's see who's available and who we can get. I think with this pick, we are going to kind of reach and get Michael Collier, who actually his talent is mid-2nd round, but he's projected late in the 7th round. I don't have any 5th or 6th round picks. I only got some 7ths. So we're going to take Michael Collier here with round 4, pick 30. And he's 69 overall, 50 in true value in normal dev. But I mean, we already see that he's got real good speed and excel. His man coverage, zone coverage needs a little bit of work, but he's a very good athlete. He's very agile. His catching isn't too bad, so not a terrible pick here in the 4th round. And now let's head to round 7, pick 8, and see who else we grab. Oh, we got a long way to go.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Yes, let's make a selection. So the fullback I wanted was actually taken, but I did scout another one here, which is going to be Eric Cannon, who is out of Auburn, utility type. But I mean, look at the combine reports. He's pretty much top 3 in everything. I think this guy is going to be pretty good, and we could always re-sign our previous fullback, Chandler Cox. But he's 48 in true value, 69 overall, so he's actually an upgrade from Chandler Cox, who was a 3-time Pro Bowler. And his ratings, he's got okay impact block, 75 lead block, 68 run block. He's actually got some good speed and acceleration and good strength. Actually, that was kind of out of the ordinary. But we'll take him, and he'll probably start immediately at fullback. And now let's head to pick 24, which is going to be our last pick of this draft. Let's make a selection. I think with this selection, we are going to go strong safety Heath Steele out of Tulane. Yes, I have plenty of strong safeties and some really decently young safeties, but he's the best guy left on my board as a mid-2nd round talent in the undrafted phase. So let's pick Heath Steele and see how he is. He's 69 overall, so he's 43rd in true value. Good archetype there, good run support, I love it. And how's his ratings looking? He's got decent speed, good pursuit, good excel. Zone coverage actually isn't bad. Play rec actually isn't bad. His tackling could get better, his man coverage can get better, but he's a big hitter, 76. Kind of like that from you, Heath Steele. So now it is time to wrap up the draft here. So we are going to advance to the end of the draft. We'll let them sim it out, and then we'll take a quick look at pretty much our draft recap. So let's do that really quick. Of course, they all signed their contracts because why not? So Tommy Saxton was our number 1 pick. It's a shame we actually did not get any hidden developments this time around. Very upsetting, but I feel like our overalls were very solid all the way through. So Tommy Saxton, who we got in round 1, pick 8, is 77 overall, and definitely our center going forward. Jaden Goddard, who we got in the first round, pick 29, 70 overall. So he's going to have to sit behind a little bit, but at least we have some sort of piece of future at defensive tackle. Hudson Whitman as a left end, we got in the second round, 70 overall. Power rusher archetype, 21 years old. He's got a ways to go. Lincoln Fields might have been our best pick of the draft in the second round here, 71 overall. Really good speed and good acceleration. Dave Sands is going to be our backup quarterback going forward at 68 overall. We got him in the second round. Adam Beard, second round pick, 71 overall out of Clemson. I like that. Donald Buckley, 73, but again, kind of that blocking archetype, so it's kind of against our vertical threat theme. Arsenio McDonald, we got in the third round at 69. Cooper, third round, 69. Collier, fourth round, 69. Eric Cannon, seventh round, 69. Heath Steele, seventh round, 69. So we didn't have anybody under 69 overall, which I think is a good draft, but it's just a shame that we weren't able to get any of the hidden development traits this time around. Kind of feel like we got snuffed a little bit there. But Rodney Stewart, let's take a look at him. We all knew that he was going to be first overall, and he's 79 overall, hidden development. So they got themselves a really, really good defensive tackle. Still needs to work on a little bit of finesse moves, awareness, and speed, but every core attribute above 70, that guy's going to be a stud for a lot of years. Now, a couple of the guys that I also wanted to check out, where are they here? Lance Curtis, I was thinking about him. He does have hidden development, so that's pretty good at 72 overall. And he's got really good core attributes as well. Okay awareness, play action under pressure, good throw power. Not too shabby there. Steelers got themselves a QB of the future, Cassius Moorhead. Was thinking of taking him. Of course, he's hidden development. He's 6'1". Oh boy, might have missed out on him a little bit, but again, I kind of feel like our wide receiver room is pretty full, and he's got really good rankings there, really good attributes. So he's probably going to be very good. And who else? Austin Lloyd was somebody I was interested in. Of course, hidden development, 76 overall. Yeah, he could probably be pretty good as well. Really good, actually. His power moves need a little bit of work, but he's going to be good. All right, who else we got? Travis Tyler was somebody I was looking at. Of course, he was hidden development as well. Okay, maybe this draft wasn't as good for me. 93 speed, 91 excel. But his man coverage is way off, and zone coverage is at 80. So a little bit of a hit or miss there with Travis Tyler. And Dennis Sherman was a guy I was really hoping to get, and of course he's hidden development as well. Man, we kicked the bucket here. 85 strength, 74 block shedding, 81 finesse move, 78 play rec. He's going to be pretty good. Jeff definitely needs to work on his power moves a little bit. He might end up getting shut down just a tittle bit. And not too bad. Where was that other quarterback that I was thinking of taking? Where was he? I think I missed him. Yeah, there he is. Isaac Hunter. And 72 overall, hidden development. Of course, good throw power, good accuracies, real good accuracies, awareness, throw on the run. So we're going to have to see him in the AFC East. I guess they weren't happy with Nick Mullins taking them to the playoffs. But that pretty much wraps up the draft recap, so let's head back to home base. And that's where we have run out of time here for the offseason. Definitely very interesting offseason. We did sign a couple of maybe key backups, maybe a center of the future in Tommy Saxton as we drafted. I'm not sure. I don't feel really good about this offseason, but I think that we kind of plugged and played a good amount of depth pieces for us. I mean, I was really hoping that we would get a much better draft from that, but we weren't able to. It is what it is. But I mean, we have two really good running backs. Our wide receivers, I'm still hoping, are going to be pretty good. I just think it all relies on Trevor Lawrence and what he can do in year 3, because ultimately his stats are just pathetic. He's thrown 43 interceptions in 2 years compared to 32 touchdowns. Ton of yards, good completion percentage, the rating is okay, but he's got to cut down on the interceptions for us to have a chance. And, you know, if he can't do it, then maybe Dave Sands comes in and we give him an opportunity to maybe become maybe our quarterback of the future at 68 overall. God, I really don't think that that's going to happen either. But thank you so much for watching. When we come back, we will do a preview and we will get through the preseason, and then we will start the season. But thanks again for watching, and as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight, out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that win overtime. I've been working, now I'm back at it again. Now we ain't finished what you thought that was the end.